Hi, my name is Sylvie, and my job is to help you make the right food choices for you without feeling deprived or overwhelmed. In today's video, we will be talking about my own DIY experiment with the fasting mimicking diet. If you want to learn more about exactly what the fasting mimicking diet is, I'll put some links in the description below that have great blog posts that I wrote about the topic. Here, I'll just give you a brief overview so that if you don't want to go read my blog post, you still know a little bit what I'm talking about. Although I suspect that if you decided to watch this video, it's because you already know what the fasting mimicking diet is, and you're looking for people's experiences on it. But anyway, just as a brief overview, the fasting mimicking diet is a 5-day fast, and it's meant to replicate the benefits of fasting without you having to go completely without food. So it makes it a lot more sustainable for the average population. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still a little bit difficult to go for, 5 days eating only 40 to 50% your regular caloric intake. However, it is a lot easier than going just on a water fast. I think that's obvious. So the fasting mimicking diet is similar, like the philosophy is similar to intermittent fasting in some ways, because you are going through cycles where you're eating normally and then cycles where you're fasting. You would normally do the fasting mimicking diet maybe once a month, once every 2 months. Some people do it once every 3 months. It depends on your health goals. But it is not really quite like intermittent fasting because it's a much longer cycle. And the reason for that is many of the benefits of fasting are increased when you go on a longer fast. That is the advantage of the fasting mimicking diet. You reap so much more benefits. A lot of it has to do with cell regenerations and reduction in inflammation markers. And also it does specify exactly the macronutrient ratios that you should be following. On most days, it's about 10% protein, and then 45% fat, 45% carb. But you can play a little bit with that. Usually people recommend that you don't increase the amount of carb, but you can increase the amount of fat. But if you implement the exact guidelines that Dr. Walter Longo recommends, that's what you should be doing. I found it a little bit hard as I was doing it myself to get the exact macronutrient ratios. So I decided to, be flexible and not worry about it too much. I mostly made sure that my protein was not much higher than 10%. And then my fat sometimes would go higher than the 47% or so that he recommends. But many people do it more like a keto type of fasting mimicking diet. And so it doesn't really matter. You have to experiment for yourself and see what works for you. If you look at the links in the description, you'll be able to see exactly what I ate during the experiment. Now let me share my experience, because I know that's what you're watching this video. For one, I came really close to not making this video right now because I did not even last for the duration of the whole 5-day. I am a mother at home, and on day 4, I had made this amazing dinner for my family, and I broke down. So on day 4, at dinner time, I broke down and I ate bunch of leftovers from my kids' plates and totally broke my fast. I just ate a normal meal. And it was at that time I decided okay, I'm gonna have to do this again in a few weeks, and then I'll have to tell about my experiment on a later when I redo it completely because I messed it up. But I changed my mind. I decided to make the video anyway because of what happened, even though I didn't go through the whole 5 days. We could say I did almost 4 days, and I did lose a few pounds. Every time you do a significant calorie restriction like that, you'll lose a little bit of weight. But then again, it's typical to regain that weight very quickly. And that was the case for me. After maybe 3 days, I was back to my normal weight. The reason I wanted to share my experiment with you anyway and tell you about the benefits is that one of the benefits that is often talked about is reduction of belly fat. And belly fat, you might know, is a very significant health concern. It is closely related to metabolic syndrome and other problems that come with inflammation. And plus, nobody likes belly fat, right? I noticed that my belly fat and my bloating was gone, and that lasted for more. Like, even though my weight was back to normal, I had lost the bloating and the belly fat. And now it's been 5 days that I'm back to normal and still the same. So that's one huge benefit. Another thing is 2 days after I was done the experiment, I went to a family gathering, and some people asked me if I had lost weight. That has never happened before. I mean, we see each other pretty regularly. I usually don't ever get these types of questions. So I thought there was probably a connection with my fasting mimicking diet experiment. Even though the scale was not really showing any weight loss anymore, there must have been something else that made people take notice. I assume it could be the belly fat, it could be maybe the loss of inflammation in my face, who knows? There was something that made people ask me if I had lost weight. So that was a great bonus, and certainly a huge motivating factor to do it again. And secondly, the day after that, when I went to church, someone said that I was glowing and what's going on. And again, I attribute that to the fasting mimicking diet experiment. And that's why I decided to make the video. I figured even though I didn't stick with it for the whole 5 days, there's enough benefit there to really share with you what happened. I really encourage you to give it a try. There are so many great health benefits. And if you want more information, don't forget to look at the description below. You'll see everything you need to implement it for yourself. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, just comment below. I'll be happy to answer and help you out. That's it for today, my friend.